Well, hello everyone and welcome to a very soggy Shanghai International Circuit for the final practice session of the weekend of the 2016 Chinese Grand Prix. And well, what can you say? The predicted rain has arrived here at Shanghai, and as you can see, it is absolutely pouring out there right now. It's just... and the rain is not expected to hold up for quite a while, and this rain is expected to remain for qualifying. So, a wet qualifying session is what we have on the card. We hope it's not fully wet. We hope we do have some changeable conditions. Because if we do, we could have a bit of a shake-up of the grid. And that would be really good to see a shake-up of the grid, wouldn't it? To see an absolutely massive shock to the system here at Shanghai. But it's going to be interesting just to see how everyone's going to handle, because it's going to be... everyone is going to... I'm pretty sure we are going to see a fair bit of running in this session, because obviously then everyone... they haven't actually driven their cars in the wet yet. So everyone is actually going to want to... it'll be vital for everyone to get some wet running in and some preparation running for the qualifying session. For the qualifying session. We are almost ready to get underway. We're almost going to skip to the qualifying, to the practice session. And we are ready for qualifying, or for practice, I mean. And just look at that. It is absolutely pouring. Out there right now. It's has held up a little bit over the past few minutes, but I think we are going to have quite a soaked track. So who's going to get out there? I think they're all just going to wait for the track to... we do have a car going out there, and it is the Marshals. We have quite a bit of activity. As the track's just getting a little bit more moisture, but I think the rain is looking a little bit lighter than it was, say, around 10 minutes ago. The track is certainly a little bit drier. Because of course but it is quite some activity. I think they're all just hoping they can get a fast time on board. Move the bragging rights of topping on the practice. We've got a yellow out there already. Someone has obviously had some aquaplaning drama. Oh, it's the speed tech of Elliot Everson who's had a problem. He's actually had to stop the car on pit exit. Not the safest place to stop, to be honest. But we've already lost Elliot Everson from this session. Elliot Everson is already... and that could really cost him, because he's not going to get the wet running that he may be wanting. It's starting to moisturise a little bit, the circuit is now. Oh, Toby Jones having to really back off for his teammate there. And look at the track now. It is saturated now. This track is now saturated. It is properly saturated now. especially doesn't help Jones in the fact that he's got his teammate really holding him up. But the sun is trying to break through. I think Rosie's just trying to stay ahead just so she gets the clear lap. You are allowed to do that, but I'm not sure the Coomsby team will be that impressed with this. But Toby has got through. And he just goes straight back into the pits. So does Matt Coons. Here is Lucas Quintanilla. So maybe just going for an installation lap on these tyres, because it's the first time they're going to get any running on these tyres. They've actually been running. It's Ben Blakemore does a 49.8. He is the first to set a time in this session. As I think Harvey Williams has improved to a 49.5. The speed tech of Bex Howie has just set a time. Lucas Quintanilla does a 48.5. So obviously very wet conditions. So there is a dry line starting to emerge slightly. With obviously, as they're now starting to have a few cars run round. Here is Rosie O'Driscoll. Because the thing, also in R-Factor, they haven't got like the cars don't properly aquaplane. Chantal Hawk now goes to the top on a 46.5. Let's see what Rosie O'Driscoll's going to do, because now we've seen the first of the top runners set a time. Will Esley goes second. I mean, but he was, I was going to say, but he was actually held up at the end of that lap by the master. We've got a yellow out then, is the Master Force of Dan Milner, who's the first who seems to have aquaplaned off. So he goes in. Oh, he actually made contact with Will Esley. That was no aquaplaning, he just made contact with Will Esley. Rosie O'Driscoll's gone up into second fastest. So we've not seen the true pace of the Ataroka in the wet yet because of an incident that... Well, not an incident, but because Will Esley got held up. Alex Moores is not out onto the track yet. They are finding time on these laps at the moment. At the moment, Harvey Williams has improved. As Lucas Quintanilla was about to improve there. Hannah Duran's gone up into second place. So Dork leading the way at the moment. With Hawk leading the way ahead of Hannah Duran. Got a bit of action heading up towards the head, and that's the RTS. I believe that's Phoebe O'Connor and one of the CGP. I think that's Maximum Dragala. Here looking at Abby Ledger, who did show good pace in yesterday's practice session in the dry. Of course, we are expecting a dry race tomorrow. It's today where all the rain has come. The teams have already got good data. Abby Ledger getting really held up by Bex Howie. But just look at how much they're really struggling through that corner. Now Abby's going to be able to just go past, or not if Bex cuts across, but she does have to go on to the wetter parts of the track. As Kerry-Ann Peace exits the pits. But everyone just getting used to these conditions. Kieran Hardy finding a little bit of time on his lap. They're just going to be travelling around. We might see a few cars head into the pits and put on a new set of intermediate type of the wet tyres, just because and actually put on a new set of the tyres just to get another bit of qualifying practice in. As Hardy heads into the hairpin. So almost 10 minutes. Wesley's actually gone up into second place now. So he has split the two Dork Racing cars. Of course, don't forget Chantal does have a grid penalty. Kieran Hardy improves his time slightly. But they're all just trying to find time. As Matt Coombs heads into the final corner. So, he crosses the line. He has not set a time yet in the Master Force. There's a dry line which everyone's going to be wanting to follow. Even though some cars may want to go off the dry line side just to cool the tyres a little bit. It's a river down at turn 3, because you saw how much Matt Coombs was struggling to get on the power. Obviously it's downhill going into that corner. You just saw how much he was struggling to get on the power there. Abby Leggett has gone up into 16th place in the Team Mossad by MAT. Here is Matt Coombs. So, into the final section of the lap goes Matt. Down the back straight. Up towards the hairpin. See how much you can get onto the power. Into the final corner. Let's see where this is going to put Matt Coombs. It puts him up into 6th place. So they are all finding time out there. Toby Jones is on a lap. He's not set a lap yet. We've not seen Alex Moores do a lap yet. Let's see what Toby Jones is going to do on his lap. In the Coombs GP. Down the back straight. But it is really wet out there. So, here comes Toby Jones. He only goes 9th with that. So maybe the track's got a little bit wetter, but Toby Jones struggled on that lap a little bit. Here is Alex Moores in the Yataroka. Let's just see what sort of a sectors he's put in. He's on a 28.3 in the first sector. Not sure what sort of a time. This is I mean, he has got a couple of cars ahead, but I don't think they're going to actually affect him on this particular lap. So, down the back straight they go. Up towards the hairpin. Exiting the hairpin, got one more corner to go. Providing this lap because it could get disrupted down the main straight. So here comes Alex Moores to cross the line. He goes second. That is interesting. And he does actually then put a move on the Santana. Don't use that curve. But only second fastest for Alex Moores. He had a clear lap, or a kind of clear lap. That at the end of the lap I don't think would have affected him. He had a clear lap and everything, but still is slower than the Dork. So, that is interesting. In the wet conditions, maybe Dork have a really good car. In the wet conditions. That's really interesting to see. No sign of Chloe Carter or Will Buchan setting a time yet. Blakemore's going to be heading into the pits at the end of this lap. And Buchan's gone out on track as well. So all cars will set times, hopefully, or will try to set a time, except Elliot Everson, or he did try, but he couldn't set a time because of having to stop the car as Ben Blakemore heads into the pits in the Santana. Quintanilla comes in. Of course, after this, we do actually have the KSR Formula E practice session at Monaco for the Monaco E Prix, and that is dry there, so they're going to get some dry running. Dan Miller heads into the pits. SC goes into the pits as well. Chantal Hawks into the pits. But at the moment, in the wet conditions, let's see what Will Buchan's going to be capable of. Here, well, actually, let's first see what Chloe Carter's capable of, because she's starting a lap sooner. So Chloe Carter starts a lap in the Locky. Yellow out there. Someone's had a major problem. I think it was Will Buchan, because it looked like he was just rejoining from something. Oh, he aquaplaned off going into the final corner. That was just a classic case of getting caught out by the conditions, by the amount of grip that he expected to have. He didn't get the grip he expected to have, obviously, going into the final corner. As Chloe Carter heads into... You can just see how much she is struggling on those tyres with these conditions. Even with that dry line, it is still slightly wet. But Chloe Carter, let's see what she can do. Heading down the back straight. Heading up towards the hairpin. And now into the final corner. Let's see where this is going to put Chloe Carter. The rain doesn't look like it's showing any signs of stopping, does it? So Chloe Carter goes up into 21st. Let's have a look at Will Buchan, who's the only driver who's still out there that's not set a time, who's still in this session. Elliot Everson's out of this session, so here comes Will Buchan to cross the line. He only goes 12th. So maybe Baronasso struggle in the wet conditions. The two-team Mossad by MAT is looking quite down there in only 25th and 20th. Maybe they struggle in the wet. Tove seems to be reasonable in the wet. Let's see who else is on a new set of tyres going out there. Tucson, I think, I believe he's on a new set of tyres, I'm not sure. Yep, he is. Matthew Tucson is on a new set of tyres. Let me check. Yeah, this is his first lap of a new run, but he's 3/10 down, so Tucson really struggling at the moment. And he's got the Unasa Road line. Just look how far down he is on his previous best, so he's really struggling as Matthew Tucson. And this is his true pace, I'm afraid. So maybe in the wet, they might struggle to get out of Q1. We might lose a Mossad in Q1 considering their pace. No, he is. He hasn't been into the pits. So this is still the old set of tyres. And here's Ben Blakemore, who's just gone out there in his Shantana. I think it's got a little bit wetter. I think there's been less cars out on track, so I think the dry line has maybe narrowed a little bit. It's 4/10 down in previous best is Ben. In the Shantana. And he's not going to improve, is he? Yeah, it doesn't look like anyone's in. I think the track has got wetter. Even those on new tyres are not improving. I think the track has obviously got wetter. I mean, look at Hardy, 8 tenths down on new tyres on his previous best. Track a pit, so the track has got wetter, I think. And if it actually stays like this, I mean, this will include test sessions. This will actually be the first session of 2016 topped by someone other than a Yanata Roka. And this includes test sessions as well. Let's see what Waleski's going to be capable of. Seeing the lap times being set at the moment. So 49.5 for Alex Moore. So 50.4 compared to 49.3 for someone. I'm not sure who. We're on board with Waleski as he now heads up towards turn 1. The reigning champion. He's found time in the first sector though, as well. That's interesting. Waleski's found a bit of time in the opening sector. But I think it's this sector where you lose a lot of time in the wet compared to dry. But he's actually controlling this really well. Now heading up towards the time. He is finding time. Waleski is finding time here. So he now heads into the snail corner. He has found time. He is controlling this oversteer really well. But it's going to be interesting to see where this is in comparison to Chantel Hoare. But at the moment, I think this would put him fastest. But it looks considerably wetter here. But he's controlling it well once again. This could be the fastest time of the session into the final corner. Let's see, is this going to be the fastest time of the session for Waleski? No, it isn't. It's a 46.5, so he did lose time in the final sector. So he's gone second, but Will did lose time in the final sector. So that is very interesting. This is fascinating just to see how good these cars are, each car is in the wet. The first time we've had a chance to see. Here's Abby Leggett in the Team Mossad by MAT. Matthew Toussaint's gone back out on track as well. Waleski's the only person who's managed to improve on his second run, on his second set of tyres. Abby Ledger getting a good bit of acceleration there off the turn. No, I'm not talking corner numbers, these are. But it's as Ledger heads up towards the middle sector. So 10th down in the second sector on her previous best. The track seems to be getting a little bit drier now. In a soggy third practice that we've seen here today. So much rain. And some rain that doesn't look like it's going to let up anytime soon. And it looks like a wet qualifying session is likely. Is very likely, in fact. Legit did actually do a really good final sector there. But she did lose time. It seemed quite good from what I saw. It seemed Tucson getting really held up by Bex Howie here. And that's not the place where you want to be stuck behind the slower car. And now there goes the lap. That's the lap gone for Matthew Tucson. Because he now has to go at Howie's pace going into these corner. And Howie is one of the back runners. Lucy Woodward's improved up to 11th, so some people are finding time here. Toby Jones is on a decent lap. He's got, I believe that's Will Buchan ahead, but if he can do it on the straight, then he shouldn't have a problem here. Now he's lost time though, anyway. Oh, that's Dan Miller's gone off. He has aquaplaned off, I guess. I'm not sure what's happened. Or did he come into contact with the HWI? Or there was contact. And then he slid. And because of the conditions, it was uncatchable. So Dan Miller again in the wars in these conditions. See if anyone else looks like they're going to improve. The checkered flag is about to come out on FP3, and the checkered flag is now out. And it's been a very interesting day's running here in FP3 with the wet qualifying session that we've seen. A very interesting day's running, morning's running here at Shanghai. But the checkered flag is out. And it is Chantal Hawk who ends the session fastest on a 146.514. She may actually now be cursing the fact that she has a grid penalty because if I think, judging by that pace, Dork have a chance of pole. Judging by that pace. But it's only a 5-place grid penalty, but judging by that pace, I think she might have a chance of setting the fastest time. Judging by that pace. In the wet. And that was a fascinating session, because it's the first time these cars have run in the wet. And it seems, in the wet conditions, Dork are really good in the wet conditions. They seem really planted in the wet conditions. So, and that is the end of the final practice session here at the Shanghai International Circuit. Some fascinating times that we just saw. Absolutely fascinating times. So, that's it for practice 3, and we will see you later. We're just before we wrap up, because obviously I've got to get on with the KSR Formula E practice session, which will be in a dry Monaco. I'm going to just have a look at what the weather forecast is at the moment as it stands for qualifying and what the weather is likely to do throughout the session. So, 8 o'clock local time. At the moment it is likely to stay wet throughout the session. But of course, we do have a dry race expected tomorrow here at Shanghai. But it's going to stay wet the entire way through. So, thank you for watching, and we'll see you later for qualifying. Goodbye.